The stuff on Putin is kind of dynamite, I think. What's interesting is that for a long time people have been interested in how much money Putin has. Is it $40 billion? Is it $100 billion? Is it more than that? But what we have in this data, more than 11 million documents, is a scheme, a quite extraordinary scheme, where a group of people in Putin's favorite bank, called Bank Russia in St. Petersburg, are funneling large amounts of cash to an offshore company, over $1 billion during a 2-year period. And this company is being fronted by Putin's best friend, a guy called Sergei Roldugin.
Ja, ett annat överraskningsnamn som dyker upp i dokumenten är just Sergei Roldugin, Putins cellospelande vän. Hans namn dyker upp gång på gång.
Als Musiker wirst du nicht reich, hat Sergei Roldugins Mutter immer zu ihm gesagt. Doch in diesem Punkt sollte sie ausnahmsweise mal nicht recht behalten. Seit Studientagen hat Sergei einen besten Freund. Früher hat ihn dieser Freund vor bösen Buben beschützt. Durch Sergei hat sein Freund seine Ehefrau kennengelernt und Sergei wurde Taufpate von dessen erstem Kind. Hat Sergeis Reichtum etwa etwas mit dieser Freundschaft zu tun? Nun, dieser Freund ist nicht irgendein Freund. Mit Wladimir Putins Aufstieg beginnt auch die Geschichte von Sergeis Reichtum. Putin wird Präsident und über kurz oder lang wird Sergei als Besitzer von 2 Briefkastenfirmen in Panama und der Karibik eingetragen. Eine der Briefkastenfirmen bekommt plötzlich Einfluss auf die Finanzen russischer Medien. Die andere Briefkastenfirma kontrolliert im Geheimen einen Hersteller von Militär-LKW.
So this is a family affair?
It's a family and friends affair, I would say. It's not just family, it's friends as well.
Det handlar om komplicerade upplägg vänner emellan. Och det finns ett bolag som dyker upp om och om igen.
What is interesting is that Putin's best friend's name is everywhere, linked to 7 companies, in particular one company called Sandalwood Continental Limited, founded in 2006. And we see these extraordinary transactions.
Som lånet på $103 miljoner till Putins väns bolag. En del av pengarna investeras senare i det här skidcentret kallat Igora nära Sankt Petersburg. Det råkar vara samma plats där en av Putins döttrar sedan gifter sig med sonen till en av Putins bästa vänner.
So the money goes from St. Petersburg to the British Virgin Islands, back to Putin's favorite ski resort, a year before the wedding. So we see a clear link with Putin.
En person som i flera decennier arbetade mot penningtvätt och skattefusk är den amerikanska advokaten Jack Blue. Han har under åren bland annat assisterat USAs senat.
That money that they've obtained is probably money that's come out of the pockets of the Russian government and the Russian people. It's also an enabling factor in terms of controlling Russian politics.
What's fascinating is if you look at Putin over the last few years, especially since the economic crisis, he makes these big public speeches where he calls for something de-offshorization. In other words, he says, you know, Russians, we are in crisis. It's time for you to show patriotism. Please return your money from offshore to Mother Russia. This is what he says publicly. Then we look at the documents and we see dozens of companies, offshore companies, belonging to his best friends. The Rotenberg brothers, for example, many offshore companies. Gennady Timchenko, Finnish citizen, one of Putin's oldest friends. He's known him for 25 years. Lots of offshore companies, and so on.
Det här för oss till Finland. En del av de ryska oligarkerna, som Gennady Timchenko, har nämligen etablerat sig i Finland redan på 80-talet. Timchenko har därtill finländskt medborgarskap. Han är förmodligen mest känd i Finland för sina ägarintressen i Hartwall-arenan. Men det är helt andra och större saker som dyker upp i Panama-dokumenten.
What you need to get to is you need to get through this layer of secrecy to find out who is the beneficial owner, who's the real owner of this company. And what the leak says is you scroll through, we have lists, a couple of very great documents. You see Rotenberg, Timchenko, and so on. We don't have all of the pieces, but we can now see the outline much more sharply than before.
Det här, som ni ser i bild, är bara ett par exempel som visar oligarkernas kopplingar till skatteparadis. Gennadij Timchenko har till exempel varit aktieägare i ett bolag kallat Lakeview Brook på de brittiska Jungfruöarna. Hustrun Jelena ägde liksom sin man 25 000 aktier i nämnda bolag. Det visar de här aktiebevisen. Och det finns alltså fler. Långvik kongresscenter i Kyrkslätt. Fram till i fjol somras ägdes det av Roman Rotenberg, son till Boris Rotenberg, båda två med finländska pass. Sonen Rotenberg sålde sin andel av bolaget Långvik Capital efter det att han hamnade på USAs sanktionslista i juli i fjol. Orsaken till det var att han skulle ha stött Gennadij Timchenko, som redan tidigare fanns med på listan. Både EU och USA har infört sanktioner på grund av den ryska inblandningen i Ukraina.
All of the people who acquired fortunes bought offshore companies, but what's quite interesting is since sanctions, the way that these companies have been pushed into the names of other people, if you see what I mean. So the Rotenbergs, for example, it's now the two sons, who have become increasingly powerful.
Den nya generationen stärker alltså ställningarna, men det är de äldre oligarkernas namn vi hittar i Panama-dokumenten.
I think what's interesting is, who are the Rotenbergs? Are they A, Bill Gates? Are they people who've designed some great, or Steve Jobs, some great product which has taken the world by storm? Or are they B, friends of Putin's? And the answer is they were at school with Putin in the same class. They did judo with him. They were his teenage judo partners. Before Putin was in power, they had no money. They've now become multi-billionaires, not through making anything, but through running intermediary firms. So, for example, Gazprom needs some pipes. They don't buy the pipe directly from the supplier. They buy the pipe from a Rotenberg company that buys the pipe from the supplier. So they're kind of intermediaries. They're like the middle of the sandwich. And by being the middle of the sandwich, they have become the richest people on the planet.
I think the most upsetting cases are where kleptocrats have hidden their money by using a law firm to set up structures to protect them from anybody who wants to investigate what's going on. And nobody's going to be able to break their power, or they won't be willing to give it up, because if they give it up, somebody might go after the wealth.
Och så var det Island, det lilla öriket som för ett decennium sedan gick på offensiven.